Hello. I just wanted to start this video off with I had my first 2 days of school, so I've gone to all my classes. I'm very excited. I'm kind of tired, but today was kind of interesting. I got out of algebra early because we just had an earthquake here in Delaware. Yeah, sitting in class and we're going over WebAssign, how we're going to be doing homework online and everything, and I you know how when you're on a really thin floor, like in a modular building or something, and someone heavy's kind of walking by and the floor kind of moves? That's how it started, and then it got a little bit more and a little bit more, and I'm looking around going, what the heck? And so we had to evacuate the building, and they just ended up sending us home. So I didn't have my first full day of algebra, but that's okay. So I just kind of wanted to share with you how it's been so far. I'm so excited. I'm finally in school, and remind me in 6 months how much I love it, okay? Because right now, right now I am loving it, but anyway, we'll see. So I just kind of wanted to go through my classes and show you my books and kind of, I'm sure I might change the way how I have my folders set up so far. No teacher has specifically said do this or do that. I think they're pretty much leaving it up to us how we want to organize our own thing, our own stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so Monday and Wednesdays, I go into class at 8, and I have 8 to 9:20 is English 121. So my book is Writing Matters. That's my book right there. And my professor is really funny. He has his PhD, and actually he wasn't funny at first. He walks into class and he sets his stuff down and fiddling on the computer, and he says, 7 of you, possibly 10, my goal is more, will pass my class. And I just kind of looked at him and I smiled, and he kind of looked at me and he grinned back, but my smile wasn't rude. My smile was, and I think he kind of understood. I don't think he took offense, but my smile was more or less, this is exactly what I expected. I expected things like that. I expected this to kick my butt, and this is just prereqs. But he seems like a really great teacher. He's very funny, really tried to pull people into the conversations and such, and answer questions as best as he could. A lot of people, I think if they would have waited and let him get through his syllabus or whatever, he would have answered a lot of those questions, but it was good. He went with the flow, and it was fine. A lot of writing. He's very strict. He is the only one that can teach any English course, so I know I'm going to learn a lot from him, and that's great because I'm going to have a lot of papers to write in my college career. So I'm looking forward to improving and getting better. In high school, English was one of my best subjects, but now I've heard some things have changed. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. So we haven't really done too much in there, and I don't have any homework in there yet. Then from 10 to 11:20, I had Math 119, which is clinical math. And that book, it's Dosage Calculations. It's this book right here. And the instructor, she's also in the nursing faculty, and she was a very nice lady. She's old school, which, hey, so am I. That's fine. And the first few chapters are just kind of review, going over fractions, percentages, decimals, things like that, because, when you're converting medications and such, that's what we're using. But she's flying through it. And I was okay because I've been kind of slowly rebrushing up on my own during the summer and such, but there are some people that were way lost. And you had to have passed a certain math class or gotten a certain score on your SAT or on your pre-test to come into the college to start with Math 119. And some people are already going to struggle, I can tell. Deer in the headlights. Another thing was there's always more than one way to solve a math problem. So like if we were going over something in the book someone would say, can you do it up on the board? How she solved it was more kind of how I learned back in the day, a little more old school, so they weren't taught that way. And another thing, especially with the younger ones in high school, please, please, please don't use your calculators unless you absolutely have to. Learn things by doing them in your head on scratch paper. Get that long division down. Know your multiplication in your head. Do the best you can, because you know what? She's right. When you go to take that NLN test to get into the clinical program, you're not allowed a calculator. You have to know how to do that crap, either down on paper or in your head. So that was one thing I always used to stress with my students in school when I worked there. I did not like calculators. I wouldn't use them. The teacher would let them use them because of time. But I'm like, it was just kind of, I wasn't upset with her, but I'm just like, I don't let my kids use them at home. Oh, they get so mad. I'm like, you can use them to check your work, but I want you to know your facts. So kind of hard, but that's just what I do. So her notes, I take one notebook to school along with my books. It's one main notebook. It's a thick notebook. Is she cute? I got it at Target. But it's a 4-subject notebook, and that's fine because that's how many subjects I have right now. So what I do is, like the clinical math, I just kind of really quickly, these were her expectations and things of how she wanted things done in class, and and then she started going over things, and so I just wrote it down really quick. However, one step I do, and I said this in my learning strategies video, I came home and I have these 20-cent notebooks, college ruled. It's like 70 sheets. I bought 2 per class. I come home and I rewrite my notes. And because it helps stick, it's an extra step, yes. It takes more time, yes. But I take my time, I highlight, I read out loud again. See, now I switched colors because we were doing, these were different types of fractions, adding, subtractions, multiplying, dividing, subtracting, and then down here we started with decimals, so I went with another color. That's just how I do things. Okay, so anyway, it's an extra step, but I have it all in my head. If she were to ask me tomorrow, which she will, I'll have her tomorrow, Robin, what's this? I can do it, I can say it. Also, this was kind of cool, and it's going to stick with me forever, and I put it on my Facebook yesterday, so if some of you are my friends on Facebook, you saw it. It really hit. When she was going over things she likes, things she tolerates, things she doesn't like, whatever, and she was going over tests and quizzes and homework assignments and, such, someone said, do we get partial credit? Like, if we get the answer right, or maybe did a step wrong, or vice versa, did one part of a step wrong, or whatever, is there partial credit? And I'm thinking to myself, good question. That's a good question. And she looked at him and she said, well, if you harm a patient and overdose them due to a miscalculation in your steps, is that okay? And everybody just kind of stopped, and she's like, no, it's not okay. Wrong is wrong. No partial credit. I was like, wow. I'm always going to remember that. And then she brought up the example of Dennis Quaid's twins. They were both overdosed with heparin. Something happened, the nurse didn't, it was already like pulled or drawn or something. Anyway, she didn't do the double checking or whatever the story was, but I remember the story, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I mean, they ended up being okay, but they were very sick for a very long time, and you could hurt or kill somebody if you do your math wrong, or if you do a step wrong, you don't double check something. So that really stuck with me, and I'm like, okay, no pressure. But that's going to make me work even harder. I'll never forget that. I thought that was great. So that's math. Now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my first class is sociology, and that book is this one right here. Name of my school's on the bottom, but it's this book right here, and I think I'm gonna like sociology. My teacher's a little he's going to be a good teacher. He's passionate about what he teaches. He's a little eccentric, is that the right word? I enjoyed him. So I'll see how I like that class. I don't really get into the whole politics thing, but you know, he's talking about social classes and things like that. But I love the way people think and interact with each other and groups and statuses and stuff, so I get into that. So that should be pretty cool. And then my last class is algebra. The reason I'm taking algebra is I do okay. I'm taking chemistry next semester because I haven't had chemistry in the last 5 years, and that's a prerequisite for my school for clinicals. So I have to take chemistry, and so I'm going to take algebra so I have, so I do better with that. So that book looks like it's a beast. That's my book. $216. Okay. Yeah. There wasn't one used. At the time when I got the book list, I went online and there weren't any that were cheaper than the bookstore because I thought I could get some used at the bookstore. So I waited in my financial aid, whatever. So I go to the bookstore at school last weekend. They didn't have any used ones of any of my books. And by then it was too late to order. So you know what? I paid it. Whatever. I'm learning. Okay. So he's a pretty cool guy. He loves to say the phrase, oh, what was it? Nonetheless, no. Darn it. Oh, with that being said. So I was kind of giggling about that, but he wants to do a lot of the homework assignments online. I'm not a real techie kind of girl, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know. We were in the process of going in as a class. We were in the computer lab, and we were all going in so we could set up our accounts or whatever, and then the earthquake happened, so we had to evacuate the building, and then they ended up dismissing us and sending us home. So anyway, but for my classes, pretty much I just have, like, I'll have a binder for each class, okay, and then inside I have this individual notebook that I showed you earlier. Woo, like this one. It's right in here. And then I have the class schedule or syllabus, and then I have some paper, loose leaf paper if it's my math class. If not, that notebook is fine. And then this is things to go home, things to come back. So very simple, very thin, very light. So far that's all I need. But my most important thing is my planner. I love my planner. And I got this at Target for about $10. It was like 9 something. And it is a monthly, weekly calendar. And what I love about this, I'll show you. So here's September. Okay, so I can, whoops, wait. My husband's texting me from upstairs. So here's my monthly view at a glance, really quick. Okay, but then right behind it is my weekly view. If I can work this right. Because I just went through so far and just put in my classes and what appointments I have already for my kids. So it's like I have Monday starting here, and this is Sunday, and then I have notes here so I can put grocery list or whatever little things I need to do. But it's in 15-minute increments. I know that might be too much for some of you, but for me, it's not. With kids and their appointments, some start at 8:15, some are at 3:45. Carlton's soccer games are going to be starting at 4:15. I pencil in, this is this week, you know, I pencil in study time, and before I run out of time, I wanted to say, some classes I go from 8 and I'm done for the day at 11:20. I stayed this week, and I stayed there till 3, and I did a lot of my homework then. Today, for instance, and on Thursday, I won't have to be in until 10:30, but I'm still there at 8, and I'm in the library, and I'm rewriting my lesson plans, or I'm doing homework because I have had some homework. So that's going to keep me from being home, being distracted, thinking I need to do a load of laundry or start dinner or whatever. I'm scheduling that study time at school, in a quiet place in the library or whatever. So sorry this was such a quick back to school video. I promise I'll show you what's in my school bag maybe on the next one or whatever. But let me know what you think, and let me know how your first week's going at